Hey folks, how are you? Good afternoon if you are in Toronto. If in the rest of the world it's the morning, good morning. If it's in the evening time, good evening. Luke Michael Howard, clinical hypnotist and owner of Lukenosis Hypnosis, here with a short Facebook Live entitled The Neuroscience of Anxiety. Hey Salif, nice to see you there. So in a couple of minutes I'm going to explain the neuroscience of anxiety and what happens in our brain when we are experiencing an episode of anxiety, be that fight or flight, be that a panic attack. That is coming up. But I said there was going to be a big announcement, and I said I'd come on Facebook Live at some point today, but I did not tell you the time. So here I am, surprised. So on Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern, as I pull out my diary and I tell you the exact date, Tuesday the 24th of March at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be doing a long Facebook Live. Hey Marcus, how are you? And it's going to be a free event. It's going to basically help you to boost, to harness up your immune system, given all this chaos that's going on out there at this particular moment with the coronavirus. I don't know if you're sick. I don't know if people that you know are sick, whether you are sick or whether you just want to increase your immune system to make it less likely for you to get the symptoms of coronavirus. I'm going to be doing a mass hypnotic event right here on Facebook Live on Tuesday, as I look at my diary, the 24th of March at 7 p.m. Eastern. So it's going to be about 20-30 minutes Facebook Live where I'm going to be taking you through some hypnosis to help increase your immune system. So if you're a bit worried about this coronavirus, as much of us are, come stay tuned. If you are suffering from the symptoms or someone you know, invite them along, and I'm going to help you to use your unconscious mind to harness your body, to increase your immune system, to make you more bulletproof to all the nonsense that's going on out there. That comes on Wednesday, 7 p.m. But back to the topic at hand, the neuroscience of anxiety. This is your amygdala. Prefrontal cortex of your brain sits right there. Hey Miranda, how are you? If you're watching, give me a thumbs up or give me a wave so I know that you're out there. Thank you. Amygdala, prefrontal cortex of your brain. It's the part that processes all your emotions, like anxiety. I hate the word normal, but for want of a better word, when you're normal, don't worry, I've never been normal. Your amygdala is doing its thing, right? This is your amygdala doing what it does normally every day. Then suddenly something happens, bang, there's a coronavirus. Oh shit, I'm scared. I've been fear-mongered by the media and social media and fake news, and am I going to get ill, and is there going to be a zombie apocalypse? By the way, Doom's out today. This is the only zombie apocalypse I'm going to be going through, is killing zombies and demons in Doom. After I meditate, it's good to have balance. No, I wasn't sponsored by them. I just felt like doing it. I'm excited to play it. Amygdala shoots up. It's like, oh my God, am I going to get sick? Am I going to get sick? Am I going to be dead? Is there going to be a zombie apocalypse? And then you come to your senses. Hey Andrew, how are you? And you're like, you know what? I'm just going to take care of myself. Going to do some social distancing, or I like physical distancing, right? Because we all want to be social. Human beings, we are social. But we need some physical distance now to make sure that we don't get the symptoms of the coronavirus. So the amygdala fires down, we're okay. But for some people who suffer from the symptoms of anxiety or panic, coronavirus, they get triggered. Oh my God, am I in trouble? Thanks, Andrew. Give me a thumbs up, give me a wave if you're out there. And for some of us, these weird things, these blocks come in. They come into our amygdala, right? So before our amygdala gets the opportunity to shut down, to fire down, to power down, so we go back to once we were, these blocks, yeah, they are Tetris blocks, metaphor folks, they get logged in, they get trapped into your amygdala. So even when all the fear, thank you for all the hearts, oh my God, I'm getting lots of hearts, lots of thumbs up, this is making me feel good. Hey Camille, all these blocks literally get caught in your amygdala. So as it goes to fire down, after all this fear mongering is gone of the coronavirus or whatever it is. Hell, maybe you're walking down the street, a dog barked, you got a little bit scared, hey Sandra, and you started to run away, but now you're safe, your amygdala should fire down. But if you're still at home worrying about it, hey Jesse, it's because your amygdala didn't fire all the way down, because these blocks, you see, these blocks got in the way. They're stopping it from firing down. So that neurological pathway in your brain called anxiety is strong, is powerful, is there. So the kind of work that I do with people, lovingly, I stick the proverbial knife in, hey, it's just a metaphor, right? So their amygdala opens up, and then we systematically take out those blocks or they fall out. Then it's a lot easier to get your amygdala to fire down to once you were, realising you're safe, so you can go back to how you once were, or even better. So what happened? No, I don't have coronavirus, just got a bit of a runny nose right now. So what happens when we do anxiety, we've got a neurological pathway in our brain. It's a big word. What does that mean? Essentially, there's a road in our mind. And if we've been doing anxiety for a year, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, hell, most of our life, that road is well grooved. That neurological pathway in our brain is well grooved. It's well travelled. So we automatically go to anxiety or panic when something like coronavirus and the fear mongering is going on out there, right? We naturally go into that if that groove, if that neurological pathway has been set off, and that's how we process stuff or how stuff gets stuck in the amygdala. In hypnosis, the kind of change work that I do, we literally, like I said, we take out those blocks from the amygdala, if you will, so it can fire down, and we set up a new neurological pathway in your brain, basically a new road in your brain, where you can still get the same benefit. And it's weird, right? You're thinking, look, I ain't getting no benefit from doing anxiety. What's all this business about me doing anxiety? I'm not doing it. You are, but I know you're not doing it consciously. I know you're not sitting around your coffee table one morning saying, shit, I really want to make myself anxious today. I am not saying that. I'm not suggesting that. But the amygdala and the unconscious mind is getting something out of it at a weird unconscious level. In hypnosis, psychology and change work, we call it secondary gain. And that secondary gain might be something as simple as, when I feel anxiety, it makes me feel safe. It protects me from bad things that are happening. It helps me to put my guard up so I don't get blind-sighted or cold-cocked out of nowhere. When at one time that piece of programming may have worked for you. It may have worked at some point. Much like if you've got an iPhone or a Galaxy and you have, I don't know, I've got an iPhone 11, right? But if I'm using the iOS, the software that helps me run my phone, if I'm using the first generation of that iOS that helps me run that phone, from about 10, 12 years ago when iPhones first come out, you can transfer this metaphor to Google phones or Galaxies, but you use the same iOS for a new iPhone or iPhone 11, the phone stops working. It starts crying, literally steam comes out. That program used to work for it. It no longer works for it. So we upgrade that phone to the latest iOS. I think it's iOS 12. If you're using Windows at home, imagine, hey Kelsey, imagine Windows. You're using Windows 1. I don't know, Windows been out, what, 25 years now? I think we're on to Windows 11 now. But if you're using, hey Roti, if you're using Windows, the first operating software, and you've never updated, it's probably going to shut down your whole system. That's what happens with anxiety when it goes untreated. It starts to shut down or compromise your whole system. So the kind of work that I do, and neurologically how we can affect change in somebody, is essentially we just upgrade the software in their brain. We upgrade the iOS software. We upgrade their head Windows program. We update their head iPhone or Galaxy phone program, take away all the bugs so they can go throughout the world with any inappropriate anxiety. We've got 4 responses to anxiety. They are fight. You're going to stand there, you're going to fight it, right? There's flight. You're going to get the hell out of there, you're going to run away from it. There's freeze. When we were animals, when animals were in the wild, or going back to caveman and women times, you might think, freeze, how does that help? Because other animals would come and they would see us lying dead on the floor, or other animals lying dead on the floor, and be like, he's already dead, don't need to do anything. Unless it was hungry, it'd probably eat us. That's where the fawn response comes. There's also feign. And the feign response is essentially, if you're in a physical situation, take all my money, take my body, take my rings, but don't hurt me. It could be something like the coronavirus. I know this is strange. Please, if you're religious, please don't let the coronavirus hurt me, and I'll be a good person now. I'll call my mum on Sundays and I'll go to church, whatever it is. We start to have this weird bargaining logic with feigning. So the 4 Fs, fight, flight, freeze, or feign. Typically, I used to be a run. I used to be flight. There you go. It's so far away now, it flew away. But I used to just run away from danger, right? And then I upgraded that to freeze. Wasn't particularly good when people were throwing punches at me. And I upgraded that over the last 10 years to fight, which has its benefits, but also we have to be careful because we don't want to fight to the world all the time. But that's our natural responses to anxiety, to danger. And understand, when we do anxiety, our unconscious is just working on an old program that thinks we're in danger. Sometimes we are in danger, hence you're walking down the street, a crazy dog called Cujo is running after you to bite your bum. It might be good to feel the emotion of anxiety, so it releases some adrenaline so you can run a bit faster, jump a bit higher, fight a little bit harder if you need to get the hell out of that. But once you're at home and Cujo's in his cage or away from you, he's no longer hurting you. If you still feel anxiety at that point, that's inappropriate because you're out of danger at that point and you're self-traumatizing yourself at that point. Hey Pamela, if you're watching the Facebook Live, give me a thumbs up, give me a heart, give me a wave. That's what I mean by inappropriate anxiety. You will always, every single person out there does anxiety, including me. Sometimes it's appropriate. You're walking down a dark alley one night. You hear a bottle roll behind you. You see someone in the corner of your eye. Your gut tells you, danger, danger, Will Robinson, get the hell out of here. Might be a good idea to listen to it and get the hell out of here. Because your gut hey Sue, your gut predates, thanks Miranda, I love you too, predates your heart and emotions and predates your logic by thousands, perhaps millions of years. Our gut's been with us since we were cavemen and women. So when in doubt, we can logic things away. It can get us in trouble. It can also help us at times. We can emotion things, make them bigger, stronger. Again, we want a life filled with emotion. Sometimes it can get us into trouble in this situation. When we listen to our gut and we truly listen to our gut, there's that sense of, hey Graham, when we listen to our gut, it will keep us safe forever. And when you listen to your gut, and how I work with my clients is we dial down the inappropriate anxiety, basically this, shrink that sucker all the way down, even when it's persistent. It don't want to shrink, look. And we go in there and then one day we shrink that son of a bitch and it's gone. And I teach people, program into people to listen to their gut, because it's your gut that keeps you safe. Not necessarily your head, not necessarily your heart. Sometimes they can, but it's your gut that when you listen to it, it will always keep you safe. If you're watching, give me a thumbs up, give me a wave, give me a heart. So that's some of the neuroscience. So what happens is when I do work, or whenever you use any of the free tools that you're going to have on this Facebook page, or you listen to any of the Facebook Live recordings, again, they're free. One was on Wednesday, and we've got one coming up on Tuesday, the 24th of March at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a free event, and it's going to be me hypnotizing you to increase your immune system to make you as bulletproof as possible from this coronavirus and any other kind of illness that may be out there. And if you are suffering from the symptoms, it could potentially help you to make a miraculous recovery. I'm not saying that's totally possible. I'm not saying you could absolutely do that. Totally don't believe me that you can get rid of these symptoms now. I'm a hypnotist, right? After all. So that being said, when you go to sleep, after you've done some kind of good change work, be that with me in person or one of the videos, Facebook Lives, free techniques on this page, what starts to happen is prefrontal cortex of your brain starts to do a thing called synaptical pruning. Thanks, Pamela, me too. Basically what that means is think of there's a gardener or there's a road worker in your brain. When you go to sleep and you've done the change work, then any roads that you're no longer going down, actually let me take a backtrack. If there's a road that no one ever travels down never again, in time, what happens to that road? I'll give you 5 seconds, you can put your answers below. After time, what happens is that road just disappears. It ceases to be there in the real world. Now, in the real world, it may take about 100 years for that road to biodegrade. I watched a documentary on Discovery Channel about it once. The World Without Humans, I believe it was called. In our brain, it doesn't quite take that long. It doesn't take that long at all. It may take 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, 2 weeks. Hell, it may take 3 weeks of consistently stopping the old program, the old panic attack, whatever that program is. But what happens is after you do those techniques, you go to sleep, your prefrontal cortex of your brain does a thing. This is the neuroscience of anxiety and change, called synaptical pruning. Basically, the old road that used to be anxiety goes back to how it was before you had anxiety. So what was a road before it was a road? Well, it was probably earth, it was probably green, it was probably grass, trees, flowers and all that stuff before we built stuff on it. In your brain, it just goes back to there being no neurological, there is no pathway. Once it's switched off, it's switched off. And the new thing, the new groove that you've been greasing and traveling down, the new techniques that you're using, be that the tapping techniques that I've taught you in some of my Facebook lives, the Chinese medicine finger holds, the affirmations, the hypnotic programs, what they do is they block the old programs. You can't go down that road anymore, but you can still get that. Thanks, Roti. Hope you're well. Hey, Camille. She knows, she's all right with it. But when you go down that new pathway, basically you'll still get to that final destination, and that final destination is essentially, for pretty much everyone that I've encountered, there's always one, but for most people that I've encountered with the symptoms of anxiety, panic, too much fear, is sorry, I lost my train of thought. It is live after a way, right? What happens is they start the new normal. They start to go down a new road in the neurological pathway in their brain. It starts to become their new normal, so they can still get the peace that they want and protection. Because most people, here's what I was going to say, most people when it comes to anxiety programs, and that's all it is, that have been running in your head. And how did you get it? It was from a suggestion, probably from a parent, from probably a well-meaning parent, you know. It could be from at school or someone gave you a suggestion at an impressionable age, before the age of 5, like, it's not okay to shake people's hands, it's not okay to talk to strangers, it's not okay to do this and that. And where in some instances it's valuable advice, it's not universal. No piece of advice is necessarily universal, other than perhaps gravity. Perhaps that's a good one that we should all listen to, but I've never tested it on my physical person, but I'll just buy into that one. But basically what happens is that old neurological program, we want peace, we want calm, we want to be protected. That's what we think, that's what the 5-year-old that created the program inside our head, that's what it thinks that anxiety is. And maybe it worked like the old iOS at one point, but now it's making us suffering. If we've still got anxiety a day after the event happened and we're totally safe, hell, 10 years, 20 years, some clients as much as 50 years from an event that happened 50 years ago, and the event's been out of their life for 50 years. That person, that thing, they've been essentially safe, yet they re-traumatize themselves every day by playing the movie over and over again and feeling the feeling. That's what I'm talking about inappropriate anxiety or re-traumatizing themselves. So that new road you go down will still make you feel peace, make you feel safe and protected. It may take twice as long to get there because it's a new road, because the old anxiety road, you could probably do that quick. It's a bit like this. Imagine you've been driving from home to work for 10 years. You could probably do that drive home with your eyes closed, although I severely would not recommend that at all. Now, when you go taking a new road home that you haven't seen, it may take twice as long to get there. It may be a bit dark. It may be a bit frustrating. The roads may be like turny and small and around the forest. You might be a little bit scared. But after a while, it could be a week, it could be a day, it could be a few days, it could be a couple of weeks. Some people even faster, but that new road gets built, that becomes your new normal. So there'll be a trigger, or something that used to be a trigger in the real world that would cause you to feel anxiety, but now your new, hey Alan, but now your new normal is triggers there. You feel it for a split second, and then suddenly you do one of those tapping techniques that I teach you in any of these videos or Facebook's lives you can watch on this page for free. Listen to the hypnotic recording, do some of the affirmations, some of the finger holds, and then suddenly it just drops. You realise you're safe. You don't need to engage in bad quality thinking and feeling at that point. You're safe and you're secure. And you go down that road where you can just breathe, be alive, and realise you were simply being had by a daymare, which is essentially a nightmare in the day. You right? Remember that, Camille? A daymare. A nightmare you had in the day. That's all anxiety is. It's a daymare. It's a nightmare you're having in the day, but because your friggin' eyes are open, you think it's real. And I'm not discounting it. It feels real for you, and there's a very real reaction to that. But it's not real, because all anxiety resides in the future. You feel it now, but it resides in the future. It's catastrophe thinking. It's bad quality thinking. So whenever you're feeling a lot of panic or anxiety, understand you're engaging in some bad quality thinking. It's not your fault. It was a suggestion. A great hypnotist called your parents, probably well-meaning, a caregiver, a loved one, a trusted one, before the age of 5, programmed you, and you didn't realise it. But now you realise it. So up until this point, you weren't stupid or weren't dumb because you didn't realise it was there. If you keep not treating it yourself or with a professional, and you keep complaining and crying, I can't do anything about my anxiety, once you've watched this video, now from this moment forward is your responsibility to do something about it. The past up until this point, not your fault. Now you know it's your responsibility to get the right help so you can help yourself to get rid of this once and for all. So that's the neuroscience of anxiety. Hopefully that kind of made sense in a weird way. So remember, on Tuesday, March the 24th at 7 p.m, right here on this channel, I'm going to be doing a live hypnotic recording to boost up your immune system, to make you as bulletproof as possible for that coronavirus or any colds or any flus, to make you immune to it, to inoculate yourself to it as best as we can. If you are suffering from the symptoms, it may help you to reduce those symptoms too. So tell your friends, tell your family, come on board, watch, and I'll see you on the other side for our Facebook Live. Have a beautiful weekend. I'm going to go off to kill zombies and demons in Doom, because we can't, it's not really I always figured that, you know, outside when this happened, when the shit hit the fan, there'd be zombies that we could go out and like have fun with, so it'd be like a real video game. But although some of the people out there now look like zombies, you know, it wouldn't be appropriate for me to take my sword off the wall and start chopping their heads off. I know it's a violent metaphor, but I use these for a reason, folks. So I'm going to do it in the virtual world right now and kill zombies and demons and what have you. Have a great rest of your Friday. Always believe.